Hi, welcome to Astro Babble. I'm Donna from Donna B Astrology,
And I'm Lynda from Scullywag Astrology.
and today we are going to be talking about the new moon in Virgo. It happens at 11 degrees, 4 minutes. And the moon mansion is the 13th moon mansion. It is the wings of Virgo. It has the nature of, according to Ptolemy, out of Christopher Warnock's book, The Moon Mansions. It has the nature and flavor of Mercury and Mars. So, active business is good for trade, which is what I expected with the Mars and Mercury. It is good for harvest and to do buildings. It's good for sexuality and vital energy. That's, I think, the Mars part. And it's good for union and conjunctions. So, things being brought together.
And we will have Mercury come up to sextile Mars in the following 2 weeks too. So that'll be interesting to see
Mm.
if something started on the new moon, whether it gets a bit of a bump at that time, perhaps.
That will be interesting. That is here in the United States. That will be 9/11.
Oh, okay. 11th of September.
Yep.
So new moons are about planting seeds, new beginnings, new starts. When the moon is new, it's dark. So sometimes these new beginnings and new seeds and all the rest of it, you might be finding your way in the dark a little bit at this time. It may be just the germ of an idea that, will eventually grow. This new moon is in Virgo, so it's ruled by Mercury. And unfortunately, it's in Leo at this time. So it's in the sign right next to it, what we call an inversion. So it can't be seen. So unfortunately, it won't be able to give this new moon any assistance. Venus is also an aversion, which is a shame. We have Jupiter and Mars sextile it. We have Uranus squaring it, and Saturn and Neptune opposing it, and Pluto trining it. So,
There seems to be like a lot of energy.
yeah, the planets are spreading out a little bit more, which is good. And let's have a look at the horoscopes for this new moon. And we recommend that you listen or read your ascendant sign horoscopes rather than your sun or moon sign. And if you don't understand why, we've done a video about that, and I'll put a link to that in the description.
So, start on the horoscopes. If you are a Virgo rising, this is going to be happening in your first house. And the first house is all about things that have to do with just you. So, if you are getting a new hairstyle, if you want to start something that is just in your part of your dreams, this is where this would all be starting. And a new moon is the beginning of new seeds. So it's the things that you're planting around things that you want to do just for yourself. It might be starting a new exercise program, or a new way of eating, or just something that you want to change about yourself. If you want to start learning how to crochet, this might be when you start it. These are things that you start new and just for yourself.
And if you're a Leo ascendant, this new moon is happening in your second house. The second house is the house of our personal income and finances and our personal resources. So you may be working on something. Maybe you're trying to build those resources. Maybe there's a new budget that you're implementing at this time. Interesting that we've got Saturn retrograde in the 8th house of other people's money, which can include debts and loans. So maybe that's got you feeling a little bit stressed or limited, and that might be why this new budget might be coming into effect. Both the moon and the sun will eventually come up and oppose that retrograde Saturn. But yeah, look, this is, maybe you're working towards something, a resource that will be helpful for you. Maybe, you're starting a savings program, maybe you're investing, but these are, the baby early steps. It's something you're beginning to do with your personal income, finances, or resources.
And if you are a Cancer rising, this new moon is going to be happening in your third house. And the third house are going to be things that you're starting or beginning that have to do with either early education, even short travel. So, like how you get around, like with your car. So it could have something to do with your car. It could also be a language, and as well as siblings and your brothers and sisters and cousins, aunts and uncles, your extended family. So this could be new things that are starting around those subjects. If you are doing planning a reunion, this would be a time to do that.
And if you are a Gemini ascendant, this new moon is happening in your fourth house. The fourth house is the house of our home and family, more particularly our parents. So it could be that this isn't really about you. It could be about your parents. It's also your living situation. So it could be some sort of new situation, maybe somebody new's coming into the household. Maybe you're moving into a new house. Maybe you've decided, you've had enough with renting and you're going to start saving for a house. Or, this could be somebody young who's thinking about moving out of home and, starting to, get into those planning, saving money, working out, who they could move out with, all those sorts of things. It's also real estate matters. So something to do with home, real estate, living conditions. It could be, you decide, oh, you just want to redecorate. But this is kind of like maybe you're scoping out, yep, paint it this color, these sorts of decorative touches I want to put on it. This isn't the full moon, which is, the corresponding full moon will be in 6 months. But, this is the germination of the idea. Maybe you're just starting to think about what you would like to do to spruce the place up.
And if you are a Taurus rising, this new moon is going to be happening in your fifth house. And the fifth house is the house of creativity and the things that you create, as well as the things that you do for fun. So if you are planning on starting to do something, it might have something to do that you're starting to do something with your children. This could be something that you are starting to do, like if you want to get concert tickets, this would be the time to be getting those, and then it'll come to fruition in about 6 months. So this is new moons and things you're starting with around the things that you create and do for fun.
And if you're an Aries ascendant, this new moon is happening in your sixth house. The sixth house is service to others. So this can include people like doctors, nurses, first responders. It is the house of pets. It's also the house of employees. So this can be literal employees. It can be somebody that you supervise at work, or it could be that you have somebody working for you around the house, for example, a tradesperson. It is also the house of illness. So this could be the start of perhaps, you notice some niggling problem. And if that's the case, you certainly should get that looked into. But it could be, you're buying a new pet, or it could be somebody who's going to be doing some job that involves service to others. And maybe you're beginning that career at this time, or, for our first responders, doctors, nurses, maybe you're entering university or an academy or something similar at this stage.
I like that with the Saturn right across from that sun on in the sixth house. It's a good one for a good catch on that Aries rising to watch your health. And
Mm.
if something crops up, to get it looked at. And if you are a Pisces rising, this new moon is going to be happening in your seventh house. And the seventh house is all about those one other relationships that you have. It's the other, it's the one other, it's the committed relationship. So it could be a business partner, a romantic partner, even a doctor's appointment. If they're writing your name down and you're committed to see them and they're committed to see you. This is that type of relationship. So this will be new things that are starting. If you are a Pisces rising, you might be getting a new doctor. This could be something, a new start to something around relationships.
And if you're an Aquarius ascendant, this new moon is happening in your 8th house. The 8th house is other people's money. So this can include things like inheritances, debts, loans, shared income and resources. It's the partner's income, taxes, insurances. So this could be you're going into business with a business partner. You are both kind of opening an account. It could be that you've moved in with a romantic partner and you've got a joint bank account. It could be that you're taking out a loan. You know, maybe you're applying at this time. It could be a taxation or insurance thing. It could be, you know, hopefully, yes. I was going to say maybe the tax office sends you a little letter and says, please explain, but hopefully not. Or, you know, it could be an insurance claim. Maybe for whatever reason you need to put in an insurance claim at this time. For some, you know, you may be notified that you're a beneficiary of a will, or, you know, some sort of probate is just starting at this time. But yeah, one of those matters is what's likely to be involved at this time, but only the beginning stages.
And if you are a Capricorn rising, the new moon is going to be happening in your 9th house. And the 9th house has things to do with higher education, publishing, the law, as well as foreigners. So you might be taking an extended trip that's not in your general area. This could also be, as I said, law and publishing. So you might be starting things. If there's a legal case, this might be coming, something might start with that, or you might start writing a book or anything that has to do with higher education as well, you know, because you might start a class that, you know, you've been wanting to learn how to do. So, you know, something. So this might be when that starts.
And if you are a Sagittarius ascendant, this new moon is happening in your 10th house. The 10th house is the house of our career and public reputation. So this could be something new happening at work. Maybe you are starting a new job, or it could be a new project at work, or, you know, maybe you're moving to a new department. It could also mean a new boss, because this is a house of authority figures as well. But it's not just work, it's also public reputation. You know, for whatever reason, this is the house where you are recognized. It might be honors and rewards, but I wouldn't expect the honors and rewards to be happening at this time. It's something that you may start at this time that may lead to honors, rewards, or some sort of recognition.
And if you are a Scorpio rising, this new moon is going to be happening in your 11th house. And the 11th house is, it's another one of the nicer houses. It's the house of your hopes and dreams, as well as the groups and associations that you are involved with. So this might be starting something new if you are, you know, wanting to get together a volleyball team. This would be a group or association that you're starting, or you might join a you know, a volleyball team to, you know, do up here in the we're starting to get into the winter months, so we'll be starting to do the more indoor activities unless you really like the snow. So these will be things that you start here in the north. Well, I'll anywhere actually. If you are a Scorpio rising, these are things that you're starting with new groups and new associations. So that's where was going with that.
And if you're a Libra ascendant, this new moon is happening in your 12th house. The 12th house is the house of our undoing. It's places of confinement, such as prisons or hospitals. It's places of exile, and it's also hidden and secret matters. This could be working behind the scenes. It could be maybe, for some, maybe you need to go into hospital at this time, or for some, maybe even entering a prison. And, you know, when we say that, it may not necessarily be that you're in trouble and that you're going to jail. It could be, maybe you are a prison guard and, or you're going to become a prison guard, or for whatever reason, you're visiting a hospital or a prison. It's places of retreat, and that can include monasteries and just spiritual retreats or any sort of retreat. So yeah, working behind the scenes. And with that Saturn retrograde in the 6th house, maybe for some this will be a hospital visit.
And the stone I brought, and it doesn't really have a lot to do with September, other than my sister, who was born in September, is really good at picking out watermelons. Really good. This is called Watermelon Tourmaline. It is green on the outside and it's got a pink center, just like a watermelon.
Mm. Nice.
And it's called Watermelon Tourmaline. The reason it is the reason why it's a really good stone is it works well on the heart chakra because it's got that pink and green with it. And those are the two colors for the heart chakra. A lot of people don't realize that. But yeah. And it brings you joy. Find out. It's found in Brazil and Africa. So anywhere where pink tourmaline grows and where green tourmaline goes, you're going to find, or you have the potential to find this. And this is a tourmaline. It's got a Mohs hardness of a 7 to a 7.5. It's a really cool stone. They're kind of they're unusual because not many times do you have two different colors, and with the same pattern, with this green on the outside, pink on the inside. And it's a watermelon tourmaline.
Well, have a look at the aspects for the upcoming 2 weeks.
And the first aspect we have, right now we're recording this on August 22nd, so we are a little early. So anything that comes after this that might be newsworthy or breaking, we haven't heard about it yet because we haven't experienced it yet. But this is going to be happening on September 2nd, same day as the new moon. So when Mars squares Neptune, okay, you could feel a lot like you got the wind knocked out of your sails. If you had a lot of momentum going, this could be like a brick wall. This could be hitting like a brick wall. This is also deflated dreams and very low energy. I wouldn't expect to get a lot done that day. It's I'm looking at the day. I know it's a holiday around our neck of the woods, and so a lot of people will be taking it easy and relaxing.
Mars square Neptune can deplete your energy. So yeah, I wouldn't plan any strenuous activities for this day. Can also be misdirected aggression or misdirected energy. So on a new moon, it shouldn't be too bad. But yeah, very easy to jump the gun, maybe assume somebody's maybe being a bit aggressive and kind of retaliating. Yeah, it's very easy for that energy, drive, ambition, but also aggression to be misdirected because that Neptune blows things.
And then the next aspect is going to happen a couple days later, and this will be when Mars enters Cancer. And this is not a time where Mars is really happy. Mars does not feel comfortable in Cancer. It's when Mars is in its fall. So it just doesn't have the tools, the energy, the spunk that it normally would have if it were in another sign. Other than Cancer, it really does not have a lot of its energy to work with.
Yeah. This is an emotionally driven Mars because it's in Cancer. It's a water sign, which does tend to be emotionally driven. And it's a cardinal sign. So it does have that initiating energy. So but yeah, like as long as you're emotionally invested in something, it could be useful for that. But yeah, this can be emotionally driven aggression too. So wherever Cancer is in your natal chart, you might be putting more energy, more action, more drive towards the people and topics associated with that sign, but you also may be aggression, either you towards them or them towards you, because I mean, you might be like, oh well, I don't go around starting fights, but maybe the people or topics associated with that wherever Cancer is in your natal chart might kind of bring the fight to you. And, you know, it's not to say that it
And
will.
this
Go on.
and this is one of those these placements for this year. This is where Mars is going to be retrograding in. So it's, I mean, not right now, but it will be retrograding in this sign. It's going to go into Cancer and it's going to go into Leo. It's going to go back into Cancer. So pay
Yeah.
attention, because this is all where this is going to be happening, is in this sign. So, and Mars isn't comfortable or happy here. So it's going to be here for what, 9 months?
Or
So,
till February. It doesn't go retro till December, and it will be stationing in February, but it will be back in Cancer. Once we get up to about 17 degrees of Cancer, which is where it will retrograde back to, yeah. So once we get halfway through Cancer, whatever issues start to pop up then might well be worth paying attention to.
for sure. It's a
Because
long time for Mars to be in, you know, the two signs that are going to be retrograding around. So it's Cancer and Leo. So if you have planets in those and things are acting a bit wonky, try not to be aggressive around it, because you know that's what this retrograde is going to be doing, is having you readdress issues.
Oh yeah, and I mean Mars only retrogrades about once every 2 years. So when Mars does retrograde, it's kind of like, oh, okay. And it's not just aggression, it could be just effort, energy, you know, whatever you're putting your effort and energy into, once it does pass that 17 degrees of Cancer, you may well be going back over and having to redo things. So it will be interesting. You know, you'll think that, oh, this is all going ahead and, you know, great, you know, we're on our way, and no, got to go back. And Mars, yeah, he just wants to go forward.
Yes, Mars does. And a lot of people are worried about Mars, and especially when it retrogrades, because it's a malefic planet. But if not all the time, is it has a lot to do with drive as well. For me personally, I met my husband, I bought a house, I had my kid, my first child, these are all under Mars retrograde. So I hosted a baby shower under a Mars retrograde. So all of these things, it just means drive and readdressing things that you might have gone over before. So it's not all bad. Not all bad. But then the next aspect that we are going to be talking about will be Mercury will square Uranus next.
No. Let's go back to that for a minute. So what houses does Mars rule in your chart? The 7th and
Mars is located in my 4th house, so anything that has to do with my lineage is going to be involved. Mars rules my 7th house, which is my husband. I mean, so that would be that. And the other house that it rules is my 12th house. I'm a Taurus rising, so those are things that undo me or put me away. And when, believe me, having a baby, it kind of crushes that social life.
Yeah.
Makes you stay in.
Yeah. And I mean, if you're a night chart, if you're born at night, you know, after the sunset and before the sun came up the next day, you may not find it as challenging as people who are born during the day, because Mars for a night chart isn't as malefic. And yeah, if you're like me and you're born with Mars retrograde, it probably just feels like normal. Anyway.
I'm a day chart, so
Mm, mm,
Mars is definitely active, especially in my fourth house. I definitely feel it. Yes. So the next aspect is going to happen on September 7th, and this will be Mercury will square Uranus. This is a bunch of thought, a bunch of nerves. This could be challenging because you might be thinking about, how many people have like many pokers in a fire. This could be many ideas coming on in your brain. So this would be a good time to make sure that you don't on this day or a couple of days leading up to it, because all planetary aspects kind of start coming into your life a couple of days ahead of time. So by September 7th, if you are thinking that you need to make very fast decisions, take a minute, take a breath, stop, and don't do anything without giving it proper thought. You want to make sure that you are thinking things through and not acting impulsively. This is also a good time that you might find that your plans are changed a lot. Like you might think that you're gonna, meet somebody at a park and no, it's now at a restaurant, or that type of thing. It just might be changing.
mm, mm. Yeah, and new ideas, but new kind of revolutionary ideas for some. You're kind of having to think on your feet because things are happening. I think with the square, this could leave a lot of people feeling burnt out, just emotionally, not, well, maybe not emotionally, but mentally exhausted. Yeah, just frazzled nerves. It's yeah, but new things. You might have lots of information, lots of new, interesting, surprising information coming at you. So yeah, definitely need to be able to think on your feet, but like Donna says, never hurts, because there probably is that pressured kind of like, I have to react, do something now, but you probably don't. So oh, interesting that we got the sun coming up to oppose Saturn at the same time.
It's closer than you think. Because that is the exact next aspect, and this is going to happen the following day. This is when the sun will oppose retrograde Saturn. Remember, Saturn is retrograde, so it's not acting as dignified as it could, and it's also not in its own home sign. But this is going to be a time where you're going to want to feel that you need to compromise on what you want to do, whether it's things for fun or things for serious work. This is also you might feel a lot of restraint from because of that. There that an opposition. I think the sun opposing Saturn just kind of sucks the life out of the issue, the situation.
Yeah, oppositions are challenging, and Saturn's a planet of restrictions and limitations, and it's retrograde at this time. The fact that it's retrograde means that you may be feeling even more limited or restricted at this time, and instead of thinking, oh well, it's going to be a lot of hard work, but it's going to be worth it in the end, you might just think, oh my god, this is never going to finish, it's grueling, what's the point? Very easy to become overwhelmed or disheartened or just really discouraged at this time. And as we were saying, there's that Mercury square Uranus. I think it was the day before or something. You may be just mentally
Yep.
exhausted this time, and just had enough. just just exhausted. That's what I feel. With this opposition, it just feels like it's going to be exhausting and maybe a bit depressing.
So 2 days in a row, don't plan, or 2 weeks in a row, don't plan anything on Monday,
Mm.
Sunday, Monday. Yeah. And then the next aspect we're going to be talking about is Mercury will enter Virgo, and this is yay. This is for Virgos for sure. You're going to have Mercury, who rules a Virgo, in its own sign, so it's going to have all of the tools that it wants. It likes it. This is going to be good for to bring more detail into your thinking. If you have a a project that you're coming up with that it's going to require some brain thought, wait until like this Monday, till the 9th. And then that way you're going to have access to the, to really doing the hard thinking. That's what I'm trying to get at. This is also a time where you might be, when Mercury is in Virgo, this is a time where you might have more of a focus on your health. So definitely take advantage of it. It's asking you to reassess it. Well, not reassess, but look at your health. What are the things that you can do to make it better? The things that you do on a daily basis that would be good for you. This would be a good time to utilize that planetary force.
Mercury is the only planet that is exalted in its own sign. So Mercury is incredibly strong in Virgo, strong in Gemini too, because it rules Gemini, but it rules Virgo, and it's also exalted here. So very strong. Should be a good time, generally speaking, for analytical thought, drilling down into the minutiae. Yeah, so wherever Virgo is in your natal chart, the people and topics associated with that house, you will probably be thinking, communicating. Yeah, just a lot more thought and communication with the people and topics associated with that house.
And the next aspect will be Mercury will sextile Mars. This is a good time to be really having the high energy. If this is gonna lend itself to a lot of activity. You might have more energy than you normally would. So this is a time where if you have a big job to do that's a physical work, this is a good time to do that. This is also good for mental work as well.
Yeah. Yeah, very much putting thought into action. You think about it and you just go out and do it. That Mars isn't super strong because it is in Cancer, the sign of its fall, but it should still be able to be used. We had, I believe, when Mercury was retrograde, we had some sort of, I think, sextile to Mars. And I think at the time I said, this could be a little bit misdirected energy because of the retrograde, but here we have it both directs, so that's good. What I was thinking when I was looking at this, it's like you put that IKEA bookshelf together and you got it wrong, but you couldn't be bothered. But now that Mercury in Virgo kind of keeps seeing it and it's just driving you crazy, so you've got to take it apart and fix it. Because we are still within, actually, this is just about where the 11th is when it comes out of that shadow period too. So, yes, interesting. So, yeah, by the 11th of September, Mercury, not only in its own sign and the sign of its exaltation, coming out of that shadow period. So, yeah, it's going to be a strong Mercury. And, with that assistance from Mars, it has the energy to actually do something, particularly if it's emotionally driven. So nice.
Very interesting. The next aspect will happen on September 12th. Will be the sun will square Jupiter. And this is the energy that's asking you to it's look for common ground in disputes. This is because you're going to have the energy, but you're going to want to it's still going to be challenging, and the way to best work with this is to look for common ground.
Well, they're both immutable signs, which is helpful. If it was fixed signs, finding that common ground can be a little bit more challenging, but they are mutable signs. Jupiter's in Gemini and the sun's in Virgo, so that is helpful. Jupiter's benefic, it's expansion, it's optimistic, it's generous, it's enthusiastic. I think probably the main problem here is getting a little bit carried away, biting off a little bit more than you can chew. For some, if it's kind of like really interacting with something badly in your chart, this could come across as maybe condescending or judgmental or something. But look, I think mostly it may be, for most people, maybe just a little bit too overly enthusiastic or optimistic about something.
This is my favorite aspect. This will be Venus will trine Jupiter. And when you have both of the benefics together and they're in a friendly aspect, this is a good time to work on health issues or anything. This is good for finances. It's just really good for things that you embark on. You are going to have a positive result.
Yeah, just a really nice energy, optimistic, enthusiastic, great for gatherings, socializing. Yeah, just really nice. Trying to see if anything else is kind of upsetting the apple cart, but it all looks pretty good, I think. So yeah, bit of a reprieve, which is nice.
For sure.
And that's the
Oh,
last
and then we have this
for
is the
lunar.
last aspect. And this is happening on the 17th. So a Tuesday. And let's see, but this is a full moon. It's going to be happening in Pisces. Oh, we have that a trine? What do we have there? It
Yeah,
is.
this is the first of our Pisces eclipses because we've been doing Aries and Libra. I believe this is the first of the Pisces one. We've still got a Libra and another Aries eclipse to go before they kind of move on completely. But this is the first of the Pisces eclipses. So this will be interesting. Whatever house Pisces is, it might be kind of setting the scene for what's happening with regard to that and maybe happening over the next 18 months. The full moon lunar eclipse is at 25 degrees Pisces, and we have Neptune at 28 degrees Pisces. So that's going to be interesting. Kind of ethereal, foggy, idealistic full moon eclipse, perhaps.
Mm. Yeah, and the trine that had caught my eye was the one between Pluto, Uranus, and the Sun. So that's going to be happening at the same time. So that is
Mm,
a lot of energy. Now, those are the outer planets
mm.
that they call them the outer planets. Those ones pass Saturn. But sometimes those things can really influence the day.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. So we'll have the sun, because we spoke about the sun's square to Jupiter earlier, and the moon will have squared Jupiter just prior to the eclipse. And Jupiter is the ruler of this eclipse in Pisces. So at least it can see it. That's helpful. It's a shame Jupiter's in Gemini because it's not a sign that's powerful and it's in detriment there. We also have Saturn with the eclipse, but not super close. Oh, we have Mercury coming up to oppose that Saturn, and then eventually that eclipse degree. And we have Uranus sextile to this eclipse. Venus can't see it, unfortunately. It will be interesting. Lunar eclipses are a full moon, and full moons tend to be about high points, culminations, or endings. And when it's an eclipse, it does tend to be a little bit surprising. Sometimes this can eclipse people or things out of your life. So wherever Pisces is in your natal chart, there may be surprising elements there, but it's more likely to happen if you have natal planets or chart points at around about 25 degrees of Pisces, or the other mutable signs, which is Virgo, Gemini, and Sagittarius. So it will be interesting. And me and Donna did a video all about lunar eclipses, and we'll put a link to that in the description as well.
Yeah, and the Mars is scary close to squaring the both nodes. So that can be a lot of fated, or that can be fated events that are going to happen on that day. So, or close to it.
Yeah, what do they call that? The bendings of the nodes?
Yeah,
Mm,
at the bendings. So that could come into play during this full moon. So
mm. I'm not sure what type.
definitely things to watch for. There's going to be a lot of activity. I know in the United States we have a, a vote coming up soon in November.
Mhm.
But I think all of the countries, there's like what, 17 countries that have changed rulerships or changed leaderships or had the opportunity to change leadership. So
Ah.
this is definitely interesting times, especially with Pluto so close to the border there.
Well, I was just thinking too
Can't
with
really.
Uranus sextiling this eclipse as well. That's interesting. Very interesting.
Mhm.
Well, Donna, where
I
can people
agree.
find you? And what services are you offering?
The services I am offering are natal readings, year ahead readings, horary, electional, medical. I can take a look at medical and get some insight on any medical questions, as well as I work with energy and energy healing. So, and I'm very excited about that. I'm starting to work with public, so, and I'm getting some huge responses with that. So there's obviously something to it. And I will be I'll be once I literally get out of class in a couple of days. So I will have be graduating from that and I will be able to offer more detail of those kinds of things on my other channel, Donna B ACM, which is Advanced Crystal Master. So not only not only do I just work with crystals, but I also do the energy as well with that. So this is an interesting subject, and I can hardly wait to bring it to you guys. But I will let you know when it's all out. And Lynda, what are you doing, and where can people get a hold of you?
I'm at Scullywag Astrology. That's astrology.scullywag.com. And I'm offering year ahead relationships and natal readings. And Donna was talking about that ACM channel. There's a link to that in the description as well. So, well, we hope this new moon is very nice to you. And yeah, new beginnings. We've got this eclipse coming up. That took me a bit by surprise. I was putting the aspects in, and then I saw it was a full moon eclipse. It's like, wow, interesting. Lunar eclipse. It's like the years just got away so quick.
Mm,
Mhm. Anyway,
it has
your likes.
gone by very, very fast.
Yeah, thank you for your likes and subscribing and comments. And yeah, take care. Ciao.
Thank you.